Believe House. Oh, today we're about to have FUN, fun, because we're going to study for your test coming up. This test is over equations, inequalities, and literal equations, which is when you solve for a variable. So a magical whiteboard appears. Let's start rocking and rolling. The first thing we need to know is about identity and if it's zero. Okay? So an identity is when the left side equals to the right side. Notice it's the same exact thing. Your letters are going to be the same. Zero is when the integers cancel out, but not the variables. Notice the negative 4's are the same, but the 3x and 5x aren't. We're going to go over that in a minute, okay? Just remember, in identity, the letters are going to be the same. If it's zero, then the integers will be the same, and you'll see that in a minute. So the first thing we're going to do is the first problem here. Looks similar, but the 5 and the 2 are different. Okay, so on number 1, we're going to go to our calculator, and remember, you're going to do InSolve. So we're going to go to Calculate, and then we're going to get into InSolve, which is menu, algebra or number is 3, and then numerical solve is 1. So menu 3, 1, then type in the problem. So we have 7 parentheses, 8 plus 5k, and then I'm going to close the parentheses, equals, and then 7 parentheses 8 plus 2k. And then remember, you have to put comma k. So comma k. Okay, so we have our equation. We're going to hit enter, and notice we get 0. So if it's 0, we got to go back and see if the letters are the same or the variables are the same. We got to actually do some arithmetic here. So let's go back to our paper. And remember, it could be 0. So let's put in our calculator that x is equal to 0. Now then, let's distribute. So if I distribute the 7 times 8, you might have to use a calculator, is 56, plus 7 times 5 is 35, equals 7 times 8 is 56, and then 7 times 2 is 14k. Notice the 56's are the same, and this should be a k right here, 35k, but the letters are different. So if the numbers are the same, but the letters are different, the answer is 0. Okay? If the letters were the same, then it would be infinite solutions. Okay? Let's go to the next one. On the next one, you got to be able to put in a fraction. Okay? So we're going to go into our calculator. We're going to do menu. We're going to hit algebra for 3. And then numerical solve 1. I just type in the numbers. I don't use the up or down keys. Then 2x plus 2, type it in exactly as is, equals. To get a fraction, I like hitting control and divide. That's how I get a fraction in. And then 3 down 2, you got to hit 3, hit the down button 2, get out of the fraction, and then x plus 5 over 4. You got to hit control divide again. Control divide. And that gives me another fraction. Then I'm going to put 5 over 4. Hit the right arrow button, comma x. We're solving for the letter x. Then hit enter, and you get negative 1.5. Remember, on the test, on multiple choice, it might be a fraction. If this is a number that you just filled in, you would put negative 1.5. Let's hit the up button, hit enter, and then menu, number, and then approximate the fraction. So menu, number is 2, approximate the fraction is 2, hit enter. The negative 1.5 turns to negative 3 over 2. So let's go back to our paper. So x is equal to negative 1.5. And then remember, you hit the up button, you hit enter, and that copies it. And then menu 2, enter. And then that gives you the answer negative 3 over 2. Okay, so on a multiple choice test, they may have negative 3 over 2. They may not have the negative 1.5. Just remember how to switch that decimal to a fraction. Let's go to the next one, number 3. We're going to go to our calculator. Again, menu 3.1 or menu algebra numerical solve, and then just type in the problem. -6 plus 2, -6 plus 2 parentheses, then -5x minus 4, -5x minus 4 close parentheses, and I need an x there, not a q. So negative, I need a 5x. Okay. -5x minus 4 equals -22 minus 2x. I'm sorry, I'm putting in the wrong one. I'm putting in number 4. Hold on. Okay, so it's this one. It's 2 parentheses 2x minus 3, 2 parentheses 2x minus 3. Sorry about that. Minus 2. And then, Jiminy Crickets. Close the parentheses. Minus 2. Okay, equals 4. 4 parentheses. And then 3x minus 2. 3x minus 2. Close the parentheses. Minus 8x. And then we have to put comma x. So let me check this. I got 2 parentheses 2x minus 3 minus 2 equals, that is it. Hit enter. And notice we get 0 again. If you get 0, you got to figure out if the letters cancel or if the numbers cancel. So let's go back up to the top. We're going to go to our paper again. And let's put, it's x. So x equals 0. So it could be 0 or it could be infinite solution. Let's do the math. So we're going to bluebell track the 2. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times -3 is minus 6, and I got a minus 2. I'm just going to look at the letters real quick. Okay, equals, I'm going to bluebell truck the 4, so I got 12x minus 8 minus 8x. Now then, let's group the letters on the right. 4x, -6 minus 2 is a -8, equals 12x minus 8x is a 4x minus 8. Notice this is the same exact thing. This is identity in it. Identity, or it's going to be infinite solutions, okay? Either one. So notice the left side equals the right side. Anything you plug into that equation is going to be true. So you have infinite solutions or identity. Now then, let's do the next one. This one right here tells you the steps on how to do an inequality, okay? So we're going to go through this one. The first thing you do is you do insolve and you make this equal. So we're going to type this into the calculator. So we're going to do menu, algebra 1, and then we're going to type in 4x plus 6 equals -6. Hit enter. I got to put comma x. Jiminy Crickets. Doing what y'all do in class, right? Comma x. Hit enter. And I get -3. So my x is -3. Now then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put a -3 here, and I'm going to go to the number line. I'm going to put 0 and -3. Now then, the 0 is on the right, so if the 0 is true, this arrow tip is going to be true. If the 0 is false, this arrow tip is going to be true. So the side with the 0 is on the right-hand side. Now then, I'm going to replace x with 0. 4 times 0 plus 6 is less than -6. I'm just going to do the math in my head. 4 times 0 is 0 plus 6 is 6. Is 6 less than -6? 6 is not less than -6. If you were to type this into the calculator, you would get false. If you get false, we're going to use this inequality. So I got a less than inequality. It does not flip, does it? That less than did not flip because the letter is positive. Now then, to graph this on the test, you're going to have to graph this. You're either going to pick an open circle or a closed circle. Since we do not have an equal bar under that less than, you're going to drag the open circle to the -3. And then since the answer is less than, your arrow is going to go to the left. You're going to have to actually draw or drag an open or closed dot and then make an arrow on your test, okay? So make sure you know which way to do that. Let's go to the next one. We're going to type this into insolve, and we're going to make that an equal, aren't we? Okay, so I made these kind of short to make this kind of simple. So we're going to do menu, and then we're going to hit algebra 3, numerical solve 1, and then we're going to type in the problem. So we have negative 15, and then we have equals, and then we're going to do 3x plus 6. And then, not q, x. And then I need the comma x. Okay, so I got my equation in, hit enter, and I get negative 7. Negative 7 is where I'm going to put the dot on the number line, right? So I'm going to go to my paper. I got negative 7. I'm going to go over here, 0, negative 7 is over here. Now then, I need to put down the true false. The 0 is on the right. This would be true. The 0 is not on the left. This would be false. Now then, let's go back over here. You're going to type in the equation again and replace that x with 0. And just type it in. So let's type this one in. Negative 15. And then you hit Control equal and you get that inequality. And then it's 3 times 0 plus 6. 3 times 0 plus 6. Hit enter and you get false again, don't you? That means 0 does not work. The other side is going to work. So if you get false, we're going to go back to our paper. I'm going to pick this inequality. And notice that it flipped, didn't it? So it went from greater than to less than. Now then, I need an open circle. And the arrow is going to go to the left, okay? So you would draw an arrow to the left. You would just click and draw it and make your arrow tip, okay? Everything to the left of negative 7 works. Everything to the right of negative 7 would be false. That's what you're graphing, okay? Do a couple of more. Okay, so we're going to go to our calculator. I made these pretty easy to type in. Menu, 3, 1. And then we're going to type in the problem. 24 equals negative 2x, and then plus 6, and then comma x. Okay, got my equation in, hit enter, and I get negative 9. All of these are negatives, aren't they? So they're all on the left, okay? So I'm going to go to my paper. I have negative 9, and now that I'm going to go over here, put 0, and then negative 9 is somewhere on the right, and then it has an equal bar, doesn't it? That means I'm going to have a closed dot, and then this side would be true, and this side would be false. Now then, we're going to type the same equation in. 24 is less than or equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 6. Let's type that in. So go to your calculator. 24, Control equal. I want the less than or equal, and then negative 2x. Negative 2 times 0. Sorry about that. Negative 2 times 0 plus 6. And I get false again. So it's going to be on the left-hand side of it. So I got false. I'm going to use this arrow tip. And this arrow tip has the equal bar, doesn't it? That means it's a closed dot and the arrow goes to the left, doesn't it? Okay, let's do the next one. The next one has 2 sets of parentheses. Okay, so we're going to do menu 3, 1. We're going to do insolve again. And when you do insolve, you make this equal, don't you? So let's go to the calculator. And we have menu 3, 1. And then, Jiminy Crickets. Menu, there we go, 3. Algebra, numerical solve 1. Type in the problem. 3 parentheses, x minus 2. Close the parentheses equal. And then we have 2 parentheses, x minus 5. 2 parentheses, x minus 5. Close the parentheses, comma x. Got my equation typed in, hit enter. I get negative 4. All of these are negatives, aren't they? So go over here, put 0. Negative 4 is right here. There's no equal bar, so I'm going to pick an open dot, aren't I? So you would drag an open or closed dot. You're on this one, you do it closed. The 0's on the right, so this is true. This is false. Now then, we're going to type this in. and see if it's true or false. So I'm going to go back to the calculator. 3 parentheses, 0 minus 2, replace the x with 0, close the parentheses, and I got less than, control equal, pick the less than, and then 2 parentheses, 0 minus 5, 0 minus 5, close parentheses, hit enter, I got it typed in, and this one is also false. They all came out to be false, didn't they? So go back to your paper. It's false, so that means the arrow goes this way, and this is the arrow tip I want. So it's going to be less than and the -4. This is what you would pick in a multiple choice, okay? Make sure you can get the multiple choice and make sure you can graph. Now then, turn the page. Okay, if you turn the page, these are your verbal expressions. You've got to be able to solve these, okay? On this one right here, circle the letter you want to solve for. Everything else has got to go to the other side. Draw a bar. How can I move this k? It's being added, so I'm going to subtract k. So I need a u and a minus k. Notice right here is the answer, okay? I'm not going to get a multiply or divide, am I? Because I'm adding or subtracting. So letter A is the right answer. Not too difficult. Just make sure you're eliminating choices on this multiple choice. On this one right here, we want to solve for A. Same thing. We're going to move C to the left by subtracting C. So I need a positive G and a minus C. This doesn't have a minus C. This has a minus C, but we're multiplying. This does not have a minus C. Right here is the right answer in it. You can also put negative C plus G. So make sure it could be in any order. The G has to be plus, the C has to be minus. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, big difference. I am not adding, I'm multiplying. I want to get the A all by myself. The opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by C. I need a G on top and a C on bottom, and it can't be negative. So a G on top, a C on bottom, right here is the answer in it. Piece of cake, piece of cake, piece of cake. Just try to eliminate choices that won't work. Number 4, we're going to solve for A, circle the A. I got to move that M over. Notice I'm adding, the opposite of a plus N is a minus M. So I need a Z and a minus M. Notice that this has a Z and an M, the Z's negative, but it's a fraction, it won't work. Fraction won't work, multiply won't work, right here is the answer. Also remember, it could be in negative M plus Z. Either one of those would work. Continuing on, number 5. We want to solve this for X. This is real tricky, okay? So basically, you're going to multiply both sides by 1 over K. The K is going to go from the top to the bottom. So the W over VK is going to work. Notice that K goes from the top to the bottom. So the K will go from the numerator to the denominator. Which choice has this? It's right here, okay? We are not going to add or subtract on this, okay? And that K will go from the top to the bottom because you're moving it across. That's real tricky. Number 6, okay, we want to solve this for X, but X is on the bottom. If X is on the bottom, you're going to flip both fractions. Now then, notice we want the X, we got to get rid of C. The opposite of divide by C is to multiply by C. The C's would divide out, and I would get X equals RC over D. This could also be C over CR. So the R and the C have to be on top, the D on bottom. I'm not going to add or subtract. It's not going to be negative. There's no fraction on this one. This one works right here, doesn't it? Hold on. Is that right? Did I flip? Ooh, I didn't flip this one. This has to be D over R. Sorry about that. I didn't flip this fraction. So I got to flip that fraction too. So it's going to be CD over R. CD over R, because you have to flip both fractions. I forgot to flip that fraction, okay? Piece of cake, piece of cake. Just remember, flip both fractions, unlike I forgot to do there. Did that on purpose so you can see what's going to happen. Number 7, we are almost done. We want the A all by itself. So the opposite of a minus N is a plus M. So notice I need a plus M, a plus P, and a minus N. So there's not going to be any multiplying or dividing. The P has to be negative, that's wrong. The M's positive, the P, that works. The M and the P are both negative. The M and the P are both negative. B is the right answer. Go through it, make sure the signs match up, okay? Because they could be out of order. And the last one, number 8, we're going to solve this for x. This one right here, there's no fraction bars. The opposite of a multiply is divide. I'm going to draw 2 fraction bars, and that M has got to be divided. So M divided by M is 1. They cancel out. This right here is the answer. I need an M plus P on the top, not the bottom, and an M on the bottom. So these don't have fractions. This one right here is the answer. The M plus P is on the top. The M's on the bottom. Real quickly, this is kind of what your test will look like. So write down, let's do x equals a, or let's do Jiminy Crickets. AB minus CD. And I want to solve this, let's say, for A. I want to solve it for A. Okay? First thing I got to do is get rid of this. So the opposite of minus CD is a plus CD. So I'm going to get x plus CD equals AB. And then I want the A by itself, so I'm going to draw 2 fraction bars and the B goes on bottom. Notice what happens here. This minus CD turns into a plus CD, and the B goes from the top to the bottom. So the minus CD is going to flip, and then that number in front of the variable is going to go to the bottom. That's what's going to happen on your test tomorrow. It's going to look a little bit different though, okay? Okay? Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things. You're going to do amazing on your test, and you are awesome.